actually have, four examples, and I won't go into the details. Obviously, Apple is the example on one end of the spectrum, major player for stock buybacks with very little dividends. ExxonMobil, on the other hand, is a more balanced that gives dividends and also does cash stock buybacks. Procter and Gamble is an old company that is much more into dividends first, and buybacks is almost an afterthought or a secondary. And the other end of the spectrum is Berkshire Hathaway, which does neither. It doesn't give dividends and it doesn't do buybacks. This gives you a perspective when you're looking at the various companies. You try to have a perspective on where they fall into this spectrum. I'm going to skip this and go on to this slide. As an individual investor at PAMIC or BI, we focus mostly on individual stocks. But you also have mutual funds and ETFs. And it's worth remembering that individual stocks gives you the greatest flexibility from the standpoint of, either capital gains or taxes and so forth. Whereas if you own a mutual fund or an ETF, you don't have any control over that. The management for the ETF or mutual fund decides on what to do. And from that standpoint, this slide tries to show you that ETFs, exchange traded funds, are much less likely to distribute capital gains than mutual funds are. So purely from a stock standpoint, ETFs is a much more tax efficient vehicle than a mutual fund. That's almost an aside. Now let me